Wealth Management team continued their Wealth Talk series, this time targeting grade 5 and grade 6 parents. Here are the highlights from Life After PEP.
So what VM Wealth is trying to do and will do today is to use its 25 years of experience to say, okay, how can we leverage that experience to help parents going through all of this stress, to not only handle it in a way that will ensure success, not just for the students, but for the goals that we have as parents for our children, but also manage it in a way that helps to either create or maintain or protect wealth. And yes, it is possible to have wealth and children. They can go hand in hand.
There is an innate need for secure attachment. An innate need for secure attachment. The natural stages of our children's development will almost instinctively send them away from us in their personal pursuits to find, of course, what? Watch the eyes now. Their identity, their individuality, and of course, their independence. And I want to also add their image. During this stage or phase, the opinion of the parents is or are questioned. It is refused and even many times ridiculed. The freedom to express oneself without much restraint can be had through social media and henceforth pursued. So sometimes what they see, and they see how other children are getting away with certain things, then as far as they are concerned, you are not being the kind of parent that we want you to be. Why so? Because everybody else around us have the freedom, but we don't. And so many times they are angry at us. Preparing for teenage years demands that we first come to an understanding of their developmental stages. We need to make note of that. And how their social environment will impact that development, and the time to do so is now. Sometimes as parents we do not grow with our children and as such fail to recognize that they are growing up and therefore treat our teens as if they are still toddlers. To use a banking metaphor, if teenager has made enough deposits in the trust bank, then he or she has earned the privilege of making a few withdrawals. That is, the teen has earned more responsibility and freedom. Teenagers need room to grow so that they and their parents can learn what they need to handle. Dan Lumans says, if I had my child to raise all over again, I'd build self-esteem first and the house later. I'd paint more and point fingers less. I would do less corrected and more connecting. I would take my eyes off my watch and watch with my eyes. I'd take more hikes and fly more kites. I'd stop playing serious and seriously play. I would run through more fields and gaze at more stars. I'd do more hugging and less tugging. I hope and trust that the information we shared would give us a kind of foothold in what our children are not only going through, our adolescents especially, but how we can better equip ourselves to deal with those struggles.
So let's talk about building positive relationships. Create quality connections. So your children are getting ready to go into high school. You've already finished or finishing up with the elementary school. How do you create positive connections every single day in high school? You're not going to be a helicopter parent. But what I'm going to do now is suggest to you that the conversations that you have with your teachers, with the security guards, with the administration, with their peers, you're going to teach your children the language to use to create those quality connections. So instead of just saying, okay, if you want to have a conversation with a teacher, share ideas. You as well, when you go in there and you're meeting the child's teacher, find out, does that teacher have a child? Because if that teacher has a child, guess what? if that teacher has some of the same challenges that you are experiencing, make connections. Don't just go and drop your child off. Have conversations with the security guard. What are some of the challenges that the security guard has at the school? You want to know if your child is going to feel safe at that school. Have a conversation with the administrative staff, the people in the office. Let them know you. Let them know who your child is. Guess why? Because when your child is sick and needs to call you, they can't pick up a cell phone. So make connections, quality connections from day 1 till 5th form. That's how you're going to empower your children. So when they're leaving prep school, primary school, and going into high school, learning to embrace the fact that we are not the same. So talking a little bit about the fact that we're going to have some people who are clever, we're going to have some people that come from the inner city, we're going to have some people that come from uptown, we're going to have some people who are rich, we're going to have some people who are poor, we're going to have some people who like girls, we're going to have some people who don't like girls. Talk about it before they go. So what do you think it's going to be like? What do you think are going to be some of the challenges? And have the conversation so when they go there, they're not like, what is this? Another part of that is talking about some of the social injustices that happen in the classroom and at school. Bullying. What will you do if someone steals your lunch money? What will you do if someone asks you for your lunch money? Talk about it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen particularly to first formers. What will you do? Will you fight? Will you run? Have a plan. That's why you need connections. When they get to high school, they'll have many things that they have to plan and monitor. But it's not something that comes naturally. So I want you to think of something. You're going to have a dinner party. Everybody has planned for a dinner party. You don't just wake up in the morning and say, oh, all my friends coming over tonight for Christmas and we're going to have things. If you're going to have a Christmas dinner party, what does the planning entail? Give me some suggestions as to some things that have to happen. Who are you going to invite? Where are you going to have it? What's the budget? What's the timeline? When do you start planning? I want you to start planning things during the summer. Ask a child, let us plan an event and put it out on the calendar. What we're going to do first, all of that, and what is our budget. Show them so that let's plan an assignment. Let's plan a little project. Let us plan how to plant a garden. Let's plan, and when they get their first assignment, let's plan for this. How are we going to approach it? And this is a timeline. We're going to start here and then start talking. What are some of the hiccups that could happen? With the dinner party, the venue could cancel. That happened here. You know how many venues they looked at before they got this venue? So the hiccups. Show your child how to roll with the punches. What will happen if on the day that it's due, you are sick? What else could happen? So talk with them about possible challenges. If you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right. So why not take the chance and say, I can. You can make the difference for your child's success.
Now, the single biggest cost that comes with sending your child to university, in most cases, is tuition, which can vary based on school selected, the country in which the school is located in, and the program chosen. Each of you will have your individual goals and preferences, so don't wait. Talk to your investment advisor about how you can create a customized plan that suits your individual needs and that works for you. While it may seem that it's far away, it's really just around the corner. So first, they need to start early. So if your child is going into 7th grade now, that's as good a time as any to start. Don't wait until they're going into 4th form, 5th form to start scrambling. It's not the type of thing you want to let catch you off guard. So plan early so that you can be focused and make a manageable plan financially that is manageable in the here and now, and you'll be prepared when the time is right. Next up, sit with the advisor and see what's possible. Instead of trying to think it out yourself, talk to a professional and see what's possible, right? And they can map it out for you and help you to not only establish how much you can make to be prepared, but optimize how much you need to put aside to be prepared, right? Because they are in the market, they know, what you can make, what you can achieve, where the market is going. So it's a good idea to stay in contact with your advisor. for something like this, we have a long-term investment horizon, right? So the most ideal product would be the equity fund, because yes, it might be the highest risk, but of course it's the highest return, and we have that long time period so that we can withstand any intermittent shocks in the market, right? So I'd first and foremost recommend that, but overall I would recommend a combination of products so that we don't overweight a high level of risk, so that we can sleep at night.